I just saw the new trailer for the Persona 3 expansion, which is pretty much like if like I'm 35, if anyone had a PS2 back in the day and played Persona 3 back in the day, it's basically just Persona 3 Fez. Like they're doing the Fez expansion. And looking at the comments, it reminded me of something I've been meaning to talk about for a while that people don't seem to get, well, gamers don't seem to get, which is these video games are way more expensive to make than they were before. Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand what they think they're looking at when they see video games, or like how many resources go into them, or like just what it takes to make a video game. And even then, because like I already know what I'm about to say now by the fucking is gonna be taken as like me caping for corporate greed by the fucking illiterates and people that don't understand how fucking business works or how money works. Just basic fucking economics. But yeah, it's exactly that. It's like how the fuck can you guys not understand that games now cost more than they ever did before? So you guys getting upset that a new game comes out like priced at what are they like $60 or $70 now? Dude, just wait until they're on sale, like I do. Like, I know you haven't gone through your entire backlog. You haven't cleared your backlog. You haven't beaten every game that you ever bought. No gamer has. That's like fucking that's so rare as to be I would say probably impossible. So what the fuck was my point of it? Like sidebar, because it like this whole thing just reminded me of when the Final Fantasy VII remake was coming out and fucking dipshit like when it came out that it was gonna be released episodically. Fucking dipshits that like it was weird. It was like guys my age that like played the original on the PS1 were saying shit like, well, why don't they just release it all at once and then like they did with the original game? They're trying to like nickel and dime us. And then it's like, how are you saying that after seeing the trailer and seeing what the fucking game is? It's like they have to it also shows that you didn't understand what the fuck you were playing on the PS1 when it came to like the environments. Like when it came to the PS4, PS5 versions, like these current gen versions, they had to build Midgar three-dimensionally. Like on the PS1, basically all you were looking at was a 3D model walking around on PNG files. Like, go back and look at what the fuck you're comparing the PS1 game to when it comes to like this new production of like the remake series that's coming out right now. It's totally incomparable. Like, I don't understand. Again, I don't understand what the fuck you think you're looking at. So it's like always with these gamer, like like I saw the whole thing with This constantly happens, but like the latest thing that they were complaining about was Star Wars, or the latest example that they like to cite is Star Wars Outlaws and how that's how they have tiers where it's like the base game and they've been doing this for years now. They always want to like blame Ubisoft for this, but it's like this is normal. Like base game $60-$70, and then to get like to get it with a season pass it's like I guess 100, and then to get it with season pass and like other content and shit it's like maybe 120. I didn't look this up. I could be misquoting it, but I know for sure it's like around 100 or like 120 or something like that for like the super premium fuck you edition. I don't know if it comes with a statue or something. I don't know if it's like a collector's edition or whatever. But basically to get like a quote unquote full game, well yeah, full game. I'm not even gonna say quote unquote. A full game is like $100, which again, if you adjust for inflation and what goes into making a game these days, that makes sense. Like people have been told, gamers have been told, consumers have been told for a while in this industry that games should cost more than they do now. And I don't think they realize when they're being told that like they are that like the companies are going out of their way, or like these publishers are going out of their way to give consumers options. Like if you're just a person who's like, I just want to play like the regular game by itself. I don't give a fuck about like, extra expansions and shit like that, or like an extra chapter. Like base game, give me that for like whatever amount and I'll pay it. I guarantee if they weren't doing this, if they were just putting games out and chart like full games and charging them what they were worth, they raise the price to like 100, 120 or something like that, then gamers would start complaining that there are no options. They'd be crying out for what we have now, which like comes back to like what it always comes back to is like people just like to complain, especially when it comes to like the whole gaming thing. But anyway, like I got that's a whole sidebar, but well, no, it's not even a sidebar because it comes back to my main point about like what I just saw with like the Persona 3 thing. Like when it comes to Atlas in general, people always say like, might as well hold off for the whole game to come out for the full game, not realizing that Atlas is not as big of a publisher and developer as you guys fucking think it is. Again, I'm old enough to remember when all their games were made on renderware. So like it was like renderware games were like incredibly cheaply made, or like just easier to like Wonderware was just an engine that like a bunch of PS2 games were made on. It was just so, to go from that to like now these, I don't want to say, I don't know if I would consider like from Persona 5 onward triple A production. They'd be like double A, low end triple A, I guess you could say. But it's like most of the when it comes to the Persona games or like Atlus games, most of their stuff, most of the game comes down to writing content. Like how densely packed with content it is. It's not really like the graphics or like map size, map density, anything like that. It's just really the content and how you're going through the story and whatnot. So I mean, because a lot of the designs for like demons slash personas are just like 80% of them are always reused. Yeah, like they're holdovers. I mean, not that I have anything wrong with that. I mean, but people like to complain about anything. But yeah, they don't understand that like they just now started making money, so they have to make shrewd business decisions like they do. Like people complaining about like this what the fuck's it called? I think it's just called for the Persona 3 Reloaded thing. I think it's called episode something. I just keep calling it the Fez expansion in my mind. Oh, Bridge of Time. Yeah, they're complaining like, yeah, this is I think the top comment was something like, yeah, this is why you should wait for the full game when it comes Atlas, and it's like, dude, if the main game didn't sell well, I think it's been said even in interviews from the team like this expansion wouldn't have come out. That like the sales from the main game helped finance this. Just like you also have the same people complaining about like the whole like FMC thing from Persona 3 Portable. Like without even understanding that like her inclusion added cool shit to the story for the like the PSP version and stuff like that. But if you're doing like a remake, like people don't understand that she would cost more money for development. They keep thinking it's like they keep talking about it like it's some like asset swap. Like a one like her story is 1-to-1 with the male protagonist story. I shouldn't even say like the baseline protagonist story, because it is like he's still Minato Arisato to me, but like canonically he's Makoto Yuki. It's canonically his story. Like it's cool that they include FMC and like other games and as like side content and you know in the expanded universe games, but she's not baseline. Like she was just a novelty that was added for a portable version. I'm pretty sure she was added for the portable version because they knew more women gamers, more lady gamers happen to play on portable. Like culture. I think in Japan, I think that's more of a thing. So I mean, but overall, yeah, she was just like a fucking novelty inclusion for the portable version, just to like give it something, to help, just to give it something else to like differentiate it from the base game, help it sell. Like not to say that she isn't important, like a lot of like, or that you're stupid for like liking her, wanting her included. Like I'm not trying to be negative about that, but it's like, yeah, like this is Atlas is not as big as you fucking think it is. Most game publishers aren't. Not I don't want to say publishers, but like developers. No, yeah, I'll stick with publishers because they keep thinking like the corporate greed thing is like constant thing, which it is, but not to the point that people think it is. Like you have to understand that if you read somewhere that a game made, millions, like a good amount of that money is just going to keeping the lights on at the studio so they don't have to fire people while they work on the next thing. Specifically with Atlas, if you think about like how much freedom or how much time they give their development teams. Think about how long ReFantasio was in development, and they haven't like, like over 5, 10 years maybe. That was a studio. You have to think about it. That was them financing team to work on something that they wanted to create with, I guess, with like mitigated or maybe even no corporate input. It was a real art studio sort of thing, like where they just gave them time to make what they wanted to make. That costs a lot of money. Yeah, okay. And here's the important thing: to make what they wanted to make without them producing or putting out really anything to help bring money back into the studio. Like Atlas is still like a pretty much like an art house studio. Like you'll read stories of them like having putting out products that sell well, but that's mostly like their main series. There could be shit on the side that they constantly put out that does not sell well, and they just use the Shin Megami Tensei, and now I think Persona is like the big main selling one because it's overtaken the main franchise, which is Shin Megami Tensei, to like just keep the studio alive. But it's like again, shit costs money. Like that's one thing that you gotta understand. So like if you're gonna be consumer, like instead of just complaining, just be a proper, I can't think of the word, not proper consumer, but be a more mindful consumer. Like if I look at my shit right now, like on my PS4, I have like it's like a stupid number of games. I have like over 200 games, probably like 300 or 400, I think, not just like free shit from PS Plus over the years, but like games that I constantly buy on sale that I haven't even booted up or downloaded yet just to like get to. So I never have to worry about paying full price for a game when it comes out. Like just if you like you don't have to you guys don't have to complain about this. Go through your backlog, finish up stuff, and then, just keep if a new game's coming out that you see is like interesting, but you know you can't afford it, you know you're not making money like that, just keep it in mind. By the time you're ready for it 2 or 3 years down the line, like the whole big, all-inclusive fuck you edition will be out, and it'll be on sale for like some like PSN has sales like every fucking week. It'll be out like 2 years from now, the big fuck you edition for like $20. But I already know what it is. What it actually is, it's FOMO. Everyone wants to talk about like they don't care about being mindful consumers. They care about saying getting the privilege to say like I play the new hot shit, or or just talk about it even if they don't have it. Like they just want to like that's all they want to do. They want to talk about shit like this. It's not even the industry. When it comes down to like gamers now, it seems like this whole culture around it. It doesn't have the same like we're still around. It doesn't have like the real nerds that I like grew up with that are like the real enthusiasts that are like into the shit anymore. It's just a bunch of, I don't want to say clout chasing, but like clout chasing fucks all around on like content creators and their supporters, fans, whatever the fuck you want to call them, the consumers that want to come out and like just talk about the game or like shit on it if their favorite content creator shits on it. Like they don't have their own opinions anymore. They just go off of whatever some fucking YouTuber says. Which is like it's sort of always been the thing, but even when I was like a teenager and stuff like that, we gave a fuck about games. If there was something that we didn't like, we just didn't talk about it. Or it was like I would love getting on the bus like after school, and then like one of my favorite memories, I was just on the bus, and then like I saw like I was sitting next to this Asian kid that was on the school bus with me, and he had a PS1 copy of Xenogears. Wait, is it Xeno? Yeah, Xenogears was the first one on PS1. Just sitting on the seat in between us, almost as if he was like begging me to ask him about it. And of course I did. And then he just like passionately like told me about it, and then I was just like, "Oh shit, like Squaresoft did this." I've only like I was a new fan of like JRPGs, and I was just like, "I only know about Final Fantasy." And he was just like, I'm like, "No, dude, they got other shit. There's like front mission and shit." But he was just going off on Xenosaga. Xenogears. Fuck. Xenogears. And like that's what it was back then. Even back at like GameStop. GameStop used to have, I don't know if you guys know this, GameStop used to have people that actually really like video games behind the counter and would like not try to sell you shit. It was before GameStop started hiring salesmen for cashiers to get you to sign up for like Game Informer or whatever a Game Informer subscription or whatever the fuck. It was like guys who gave a fuck that you could stand around and like bullshit about game. It was like it had like the same vibe as like a comic book store. It might be a little bit more like that now, but it's like I wouldn't know because I buy everything. Like I used to be like a physical only guy, but like for the past few years it's just been digital because of convenience. Fuck it. So, and it's just like I said, PSN has sales just about every fucking week. So, when I was still making like a steady paycheck, I was just like picking shit up that I knew I would play eventually. Though, and I would be getting like the big, like the big, huge premium editions that would have all the DLC included and stuff like that. And it should be on sale for like 15, $20. So, I'm getting like the same shit. Like the only thing I'm missing out on is the fever pitch around release. That's the only thing you're missing out on. But it's like, fuck that. I'm a real gamer. I don't need that. I want to play the game. I only give a fuck about the game itself. So I didn't really need all that. And besides, you could just I had friends that were also who are all I have friends who are also real gamers. So like if I play something, like we can talk about it at any time. I could start Hollow Knight I could have started Hollow Knight for the first time tomorrow, and I could still talk to my buddy Josh about it. Like it just came out. So yeah, this whole thing's just yeah, gaming like the whole gaming shit is just fucking weird now. Like that's basically just my fucking point. Just the whole culture around it. It's just people need to either like learn how fucking business works now or shut the fuck up.